Every morning when I wake up, I look out my window. What do I see? I see Joy Division Bridge, the site of one of the most famous and iconic shots in the history of rock and roll. On January 6, 1979, Kevin Cummins took a photograph of a young, upcoming band in Manchester that no one fancied at the time, called Joy Division. The photograph perfectly framed the group. The perspective of the shot, the backdrop of Hume looking like some snow-frozen East European city, caught the stark grandeur of the band's sound. It also gave them an idea of what they looked like and what they sounded like. It is one of the most important photographs in the history of rock and roll. The genius of the band's music combined with the genius of Kevin Cummins' photography to create what is probably my favourite rock and roll photograph. It's absolutely fantastic. So today, as I go for my run around the city centre in its total isolation, as in the Joy Division song, I will take a little detour to Joy Division Bridge in Hume. Okay, it's John Robb out jogging with some social distancing and a bit of zigzag wandering. And today I'm at what we around here will call Joy Division Bridge. That's it there. The bridge on January 6, 1979. Kevin Cummins took the iconic shots of the Manchester band, which changed the sound of post-punk and also changed the shape and sound and perception of Manchester itself. I've interviewed Kevin about the shots a few times. And he claims, and I think he claims quite rightly, that maybe in a way the photographs actually helped set the band's sound. Because when they carried on making music after that iconic photo session, they had a sense of what they looked like and what they were about. The shots are absolute classic. I think they're the greatest rock and roll shots of all time. The bridge in Manchester itself, just there, near the city centre, which is just over there. This is Hume. I live within 200 yards of here somewhere. The shots themselves, perspective is great on them, and also because the bridge was fortunately covered in snow, and at the time Hume looked like an East European city that has really caught the bleakness and the starkness of the band's sound. We will now proceed up on the bridge to the point where Joy Division were photographed all those years ago, January 6, 1979. Well, here I am on the top of Epping Road Bridge, whichever around here calls Joy Division Bridge. If we look down here, we can see the point where Kevin Cummins took his iconic photograph of Joy Division on January 6, 1979. As you can tell, the weather is slightly different today as we get a little bit of sunshine distorting the image on the camera. Joy Division I think Kevin took about 4 or 5 shots that day. One of them was the band. And now actually is a really good point before we get there, where we can look at the whole new vista of Manchester in the distance. Anybody who's seen these shots will know the band also took a shot leaning on the fence here, overlooking the whole city in the background. And one side over here, it was Otterburn Close, where I used to live, part of the East European style flats, which made the pictures so iconic and really framed the music perfectly. And in the background was the Manchester emerging from the post-industrial into what I would like to call its post-punk era, post-punk looking city. A city in architecture and a style which is inspired by Joy Division and the huge sound their records created by the genius of Martin Hannett and the huge vision of their manager Robb and record label owner Tony Wilson. Without those people, none of this would exist. You know, that vista there, the skyline of Manchester, looks like a Joy Division song. Now as you look down here, you can see the Mancunian Way speeding its way in and out of Manchester. The band did one shot just leaning on here, and you can sort of see the background over there. So any of you international people looking at this, I know there'll be quite a few of you, you can juxtapose this image upon the old photograph and just get a sense of how much everything has really changed around here. Hardly any of the buildings on either side that framed the original photograph still exist. That bridge behind me, the Millennium Bridge, was obviously built in the Millennium 20 years ago. Wasn't there then. There was like a little footbridge there. That side there is completely different. So now as we walk along the bridge, We are heading towards the point where Joy Division stood on that freezing cold January day in 1979 to take that most iconic of photographs. You can see it there. The fence is now, it's still the same fence. Isn't that amazing? Look, still the same fence. Look, I can't tell. I'm not very good, not an expert in fences. And the rack at the top there, another great skyline in Manchester. I know this area really well. I live somewhere around here. That's going out of town, round town, out of town, in circles. Joy Division Bridge. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where they stood. An iconic shot that framed their music and framed the whole of post-punk.